Hello students, from the last thing we discussed, remember you need to, before you can run Python, you need to download the interpreter, Python interpreter to run your Python. And once you download that one from where? From python.org. Once you download it, you'll be able to run your Python. And how do you run your Python? Once you download it, you install it. And once you install it, you'll be able to run your Python using Notepad. Use a plain editor in Windows. This is called text editor. It's called Notepad on Windows, but it's a text editor. You also have text editor on other operating systems like Linux or Apple company operating system. So you write it on Notepad, and you run it. You run it in the command prompt. Command prompt is a dark interface. I've told you about command prompt. Early computers just like that, you just use text. Later icons were introduced. Okay, I can't remember the company that introduced icon. Probably is Apple that introduced icons. I can't remember. So you have the dark interface where you run your code. You can do everything in the dark interface as I've told you. You can go to your desktop and do some other things. So you can just go to YouTube to now to learn that. So that's what we discussed last class. And we also discussed a bit of the history of computers. And we are told that Python is classified under high-level languages, which is like English-like language. Python is classified under a high-level language or under high-level languages, which are like English-like language. So Python is almost all like English-like. So that's the data about that. Then if you're writing your code using Notepad and CMD, it's not very efficient. Then you might need to use what we call advanced code editor or text editor. We can even call Notepad text editor, but I think it's we usually refer to advanced text editor. Actually referred to as code editor. I think some people also call it code editor. So some people also call Notepad code editor. So we have text editor. This is a text editor. We have advanced text editor known as code editors. We can call it code editor. Okay, but this is text editor. So there are some text editor. Let me call it advanced text editor. Advanced text editor. They are like the most used one is VS Code. So this VS Code, you can also use it and run your code. Okay, you can use it to run your code. So you might be able to be seeing your code anywhere else. So or you see it in the Visual Studio Code. You can type and save it there and run it in the command prompt. Right? You can type and save it there, or you just run it only this way. So you might need to watch YouTube very different videos or a single video so that you don't waste your time to know how to run it. So there are some other text editor we have discussed, and then we have IDE, and we say that there's an IDE that comes with Python when you install the compiler. That is IDLE, and the most sophisticated is PyCharm. There are some other ones. Okay, so IDE is a bit complex. You might need to just watch few videos. It's not hard. Maybe 5 minutes or less than 5 minute video or 4 minute video, depending on what the person is trying to show you. So how to use it. You can also use IDE or use VS Code. So an example of IDE is the one that comes with the Python. I'm very lucky when you install Python and IDE comes with it, and that is called IDLE. Then we also have PyCharm, Charm. So you can also use that one. Now I want to start learning coding now. To start coding, you need to know that when you are writing in English, you have paragraph, write in paragraph, and you may leave some spaces here. You leave some spaces so that your work will be very neat. You know, the way some of our grandparents write. You just start with the boy is big and the girls are fine. I'm just giving you a very simple example. So you write your stuff. This is a paragraph. This is P1. Okay. Then you have another paragraph. Let me call this one P2. This place, you start from there. Then let me call this paragraph P3. So that is how Python is. You know, here now you separate paragraph. Sometimes we separate paragraph by indentation. So Python uses indentation. Okay, let's just assume the way Python works. Let's assume we are writing the way Python works. In Python, we use indentation to separate block of code. Block of code are like points, paragraph are like points, so point of code are like points. But in Python, you may have point inside point. You may have point inside point. Let me charge my phone, please. You may have point inside point, and that is what we want to look at. So let's assume this first paragraph is on its own. This first paragraph is on its own. Let me try and make it straight as much as possible. Let's assume this paragraph is on its own. It's starting from here. That's paragraph 1. Then let's assume this paragraph, it's programming. There will be a line here to separate that make it constant. So this is the second idea. This second idea, I will not call it P. I will call it G, because it contains two what? It contains two other points. So the two other points, they are going to be standing here. Let me put it here. This is the first point, and this is the second point. This second point. Okay. So the rotation is starting here, and this last point has another point. It could have up to 10 points, but it just have one. It just have 1 point. Then we now have the last paragraph. The last paragraph just have 1 point. We just have 1 point. So the indentation are constant, please. They are constant based on their level. So this one should be the same thing with this, right? Because these two are on the same line, the same level with this, but this one has another one. So it's like, let's give it a naming convention to make it clear. So let's call this one paragraph, this idea A. This is idea A. Then this is idea B. This is the grandparent. This is idea A. This is AP. Okay, this is idea B. So this is B. B will be the grandparent. And if this one is the grandparent, this one is the parent. So this is B P1, and this is B P2, right? And this is what? This one will be the children of P1. So this is B. Let me just call this C1. It's directly the child of this, right? Why this parent? This BG give birth to this and this. This one is on its own. Why this one just gave birth? This one, let's call this one C. This one is just C. So I will call this one just C, and this is C1. Or let me call it CC1. So this one, let me call it CP. Okay, and this is CC1. So this one gave birth to this. So in summary, that is how programming works in Python. We separate idea using block of codes. We separate idea using what? Using block of code. So let me just explain using an if statement. I start with an if statement. It's very easy to understand. So if this is a single if statement, this is another block of code on its own, but maybe it's tied to. It's another block of code. X is equals to 5. Can you see? X is equals to 5. So we now say that you assign, this is an assignment statement. You are assigning from right to left. That's how we assign to a variable. There is a main memory. The main memory is attached to when you type in Microsoft Word, it's stored in the main memory. If you don't save, you lose it. What you're typing is stored somewhere before you save, stored in the main memory. The CPU is responsible for processing everything, and its operation is very simple. You know, with CPU, it's just to add instruction, add, subtract, store. It doesn't do more than that. Then interact with the main memory as you're typing in Microsoft Word. Then we have, if you want to save permanently, when you save permanently, you are saving to your hard drive. You are saving to your hard drive, or you are saving to a CD, another memory. A CD, hard drive, these are memory, or your flash. Then all these things are connected to input and output devices. They are all connected to input and output devices in form of a bus. The line that connects them is called a bus. So when you store store something in your main memory, we are storing 5 inside there. You store from right to left, and that thing is stored in the memory. But when you save it in your hard drive. It's stored in the main memory. But when you save it in your hard drive. If you don't save, you lose it. You have to even save before you can run your code. So this one is on its own. It is AP. It's the parent. Maybe the parent does not have child until he dies. Doesn't have child and it's just alone. So we have if. We have to compare. We want to use if statement. I want to use different if statement. Nested, simple if statement. Ordinary if statement. So this is an if statement. If you now want to compare. Oh, sorry. This one's supposed to be equals to, not double equals to. This is double. This is not double equals to. It is equals to. Let me come again. This is equals to, not double equals to. So you store your number from right to left. You store it there. So now if you want to make comparison, that's when you use, we are making comparison here. Here we are storing to x. If x, sorry, it's supposed to be like this. If x, we now use double equals to. We are comparing. If x is equals to 5, then print 4, print 3, print joy, print joy. So this one, since x is equal to 5, it will print 4, it will print 3, it will print joy. You know, this one is a string. This one is called a string. It's in quotes. Because software like ChatGPT, we need to, when writing software like a ChatGPT, you might need to use some text. So this one will print joy. So that's the first idea. The second idea, you see this one has this is the grandparent. So let's say if x is equal to 5, that is true, right? Let me just put one print here. It has to be the same line. It must be on the same index from above. It must be on the same index. Because Python does not joke with indentation, and that is what is used to separate blocks of code. So this indentation must be constant. Okay? All children must be on the same indentation. All grandchildren must be on the same indentation because their age has to just be the same. Because they are giving birth at the same time, something like that. So if x is equal to 5, then print. I will just use a print statement. Print statement is just to display something. Print 4. This one, because x is equal to 5, everything below the grandparent will be executed because this one is true. Assume this one is not true, even though everything inside the grandparents are true, they will never be executed because when parents sins, you know, they have to pay for their sins. Maybe the same idea is replicated there. So if x is equal to 5, if it's correct, so everything will be checked whether they are correct or not. But if x is not equal to 5, none will be checked. Because x equals 5, we go to the next one, print 4. So 4 will be printed. 4 will be printed. We have printed joy. We print 4. That will be the output of the code. So if x equals 5, print 4. So that's print 4. So we go to the next one. We are going to start our print statement from the same line. This is the parent. This is the grandparent. This is the parent. The brackets are under the ground press. So we say if x, let's make this one not correct. This one is not correct. If x is equals to 6, x is equal to 5, right? Print, let me use string, biro. So this one, you have to close it in bracket. This one will never print. So the output of this one is nothing. Nothing will be here. Another one will be printed here because that space cannot be left empty. Okay, because we didn't print an empty space. You can print empty space, not left empty. So let's go back. So this one, although this one is true, it will allow this one will be checked. As if this one is not true, this one will not be checked at all. Even though it's true, it will not be checked at all because this one is true. Then we have to pass to a new parent. This is a parent. Remember, we call this one. Remember, we call this one BG, and we call this one PP1. We have dealt with PB1. Then we want to deal with PB2. PB2 give back to PG, give back to PP1 as PP2. PG give back to PP1, and PG give back to PB2. PB2 give back to PG. PC1, not PG. PC1 is C1, yeah. So this one was not true. Now, if x is equals to 5, okay, let me say if x equals to 6, let me use 6. That's not true, right? So nothing will be printed from here to this place. Print 7. Nothing will be printed because x is equals to is not equals to. You have to put colon. Then after the comparison statement, you have to put colon. This double equals to. So this x print 7 will not be executed. Then under the same line, you have another if statement, which is the child of this PB2. So if x is equals to 8 is equals to 5, that's correct. Print 2. Because the parent here, x is equals to 6, x double equals to 6 is not correct. You put colon, then you can't print 7. So this one will not even be executed, even though it's true. So not be executed here. Let's go to the next one. So for this one, if x is equals to 5, that's correct. Print asterisk me. You can put anything inside quotes. It could be single quotes, it could be double quotes. You can put anything inside quotes. So I'm putting asterisk me in quotes. So this one is correct. So this one will be executed. So you are going to have, after that one, the empty space that has been left, this one will be asterisk me. And the last one is if x is equals to 5, is equals to 6, let's use 6 or 8, that's not correct. Print 3. So this one will not run. So the output of the code, if you look at the code, let me show you. This one has two pre-statements that were executed because this one is correct. It has no children. It will print 4-3 joy, and that's why you have 4-3 joy. We move over to the next one. For the next one, x is equals to 5 is correct. We print 4. That's why it's printing 4. Then the next one under x is equals to 6 is not correct. Print biro. It will not print that one. But this one has two children. This is the first children. The second children, x is equals to 6. Print 7. It will not print that one. Okay, but it will print 4. Then we now move over to the next one. This is the next one now. Okay, if you look at it, the three blocks 1, 2, 3 are on the same line. Then their children should be on the same line. Their grandchildren, they should be on the same indentation. Indentation are spaces left. It's always 4 space bar spaces. 4 space bar spaces. So this is the last one now. The last one, this one is correct. It will print asterisk me. You can put anything inside quotes. You can put number. You can put anything. This is known as string. So it's printing asterisk me. So not print the code. Then the next one, which the child has done a wrong thing by assigning to himself if x equals to 8, nothing will be printed. So the output of the code will be 4, 3 joy, 4 x me. So this code, though look rough, I guess you grab the understanding. Python work with indentation. Thank you. So we'll look at some other things later. Some other languages, take note that some other languages does not use indentation to separate ideas, to separate block of code, what we call block of code. As I've explained there, in English we use paragraph. Languages like Java, probably C++, do not use indentation to separate ideas. They use what? They use this type of bracket. That's what they use. Right? So, or you can check, they use some certain bracket. I think it's something like this. Alright, thank you.